Try to play by the rules.
Oh, I got you.
Will Freeler, we've talked about him for years, but do people really understand what he's put himself through because he loves Iowa State football? And how would you describe that whole equation?
Yeah, I don't know. Nobody will ever know what this kid has done and what he stands for. And I don't even know if I could ever do it justice of the words that I can say or what he has meant to me, this program. What I would tell you is we wouldn't be where we're at today. We wouldn't believe with all our hearts that our best is yet to come. And to be honest with you, we wouldn't have played anywhere in the last 2 years like this team has without his leadership. And so what he's meant to us is in this, words can't explain it. NIL doesn't have enough money to put on it, because what this young man has done is he's totally taken the bootstraps of this program. And man, we've lost 2 games in a row. That's hard, but we've been through some really hard stuff in the last 2 years. And the reality of it is this guy has been at the forefront, not 100% healthy, but 100% warrior, has led from the front. And so when you have that, man, that's what this sport's about. Leading people, and nobody's done it as great as he has, and couldn't be more grateful for him.
And I guess you mentioned health. Are you going to be able to get some guys back? What does it look like for this week, or is it too soon to tell?
I think it's too soon to tell. We're going through it right now. It's been, the last 4 weeks have been really hard. College football, part of the journey, and you got to find a way out of it. You got to fight, scratch, and claw. Man, you got some guys that are trying to get back. I don't have an update of who will be back or won't be back. I think all those guys that I said last week were really close were. Just some of them weren't physically, would have been wrong to put them on the football field, and we're going to make sure that it's right. And once it's right, we'll get ready to roll. And our guys that are in there playing, man, got to keep growing. And as hard as the result of Saturday was, some guys still really grew up Saturday. Tayshaun James played really good football through, 4 quarters, really grew up, had to play, did some really great things, really proud of him. Our young linebackers battled against some, a worthy opponent and continue to battle. Our young guards, with Dylan, they battled. And so we grow, we keep growing, and, I think the fun thing about this is as we gain some of these guys back, the complete best version of Iowa State football is still out there in front of us, and I think it's worth fighting for all of us. So yeah, that's right where we're at right now.
If you took a look at the box score, 36 points looks like a productive day on offense, but a lot of that comes in the second half. How important is it for the offense going forward to take control of the game flow, the tempo, just for the sake of the defense?
Yeah, I think globally, team football probably is what you're after, and it's probably the same thing I'm after too. I think that's the biggest thing that whatever rhythm that is, if it's 3-0 or if it's 60-59, whatever we got to do to win the football game, we have to find that tempo, and I think we're searching for it. We've been in some rhythm at times, and yet we just have not been able to complete that piece of it for us. So, I think that this team, and the problem is probably each game's got a little bit different rhythm as you go into it, and we kind of thought, man, everybody, Rob would say, man, we want to start fast last week. Well, we did, and that didn't, and we just couldn't sustain the rhythm of the game. And so, I think it takes everybody. It's not just offense, it's not just defense, it's not just special teams. Man, we got to play together. And I think the great thing is we're seeing, and is the reality of it is when we play great team football, man, we're really special. And, we haven't been able to do that with the consistency in the last 2 weeks, and probably the last 3 weeks, to be quite honest with you, to be the team that we need to be to play the way we want to play. And so, great challenge for us and a great opportunity for us to continue to fight forward in that area.
Along the same lines, you mentioned on Saturday that the offense needs to help the defense beyond scoring touchdowns every drive. What does that look like for them?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I'm going to totally take Saturday, as the head football coach. My job is to dictate the rhythm of the game and help us. And man, I just never felt like we were able to catch that. I think, there's some times in the football game that we could have found a better rhythm to help both sides of the ball out, and we didn't do that. And, I think when you look at our recipe, there's some key indicators for us. I'm not going to go into those totally, but I think you guys that cover us know us enough of like, man, what that looks like and feels like. And, we're maybe not hitting on some of those key indicators that we need to with the consistency that we have to. And so no fault of anybody. And, part of it is our execution and our detail. And I think our players would tell you that we've got to be better in our execution and detail. But I also think, we got to make sure as we go into the game or get into the game, man, if we have to change the flow of the game for the betterment of the team, then we got to find the best way to do those things.
When you say rhythm, is that play calling in terms of balance? Is it speed of getting to the line, or what?
I think sometimes it's all of it, and it's no different. Coach Haycock would tell you defensively. There's some things that we can do in all phases of it that it's like, hey, this is where we're at. This is the situation. Now, how do we give us the best chance to get to the fourth quarter and be in a position to win the game? And like I said, that's not pointing the finger at anybody other than myself of saying, hey, listen, okay, this game is flipped to what we thought it was going to be. Let's clearly define, what we have to do to win the football game and see if we can execute it best. So not that anybody wasn't trying to do that, and not that anybody was, not putting ourselves in the best situation to do that. We just got to do it the best way we possibly can, and that's the head coach's responsibility. So, man, the finger is pointed at me, my communication, my leadership, and obviously our execution. We just got to be a little bit better, and so, that'll be something for me I can continue to do a great job of for our team.
Unique challenge this week with Tyson Veidt. Sounds like a similar type of defense that he's running. What's that dynamic going to be like? You've got a veteran staff too, a lot of guys that know Tyson well, and get into maybe just some of the wrinkles or the differences maybe in the 3-3-5 that they're running.
Well, I would just say this. I mean, this is always unique, and we had it last week. I think 2 players and a staff member that stayed here through the spring. Even though he had a job in Kansas, and then DK McDonald. So you had some unique situations last week that really knew who you were, and unfortunate but challenging. And then this week, in the Cincinnati situation, man, Tyson did such a great job here. I mean, was such a key figure, not only to me as a person. I mean, we're great friends. Our families are best friends. You are just so proud of what he earned the opportunity to go be a defensive coordinator in the Big 12, let alone go to a place that's got the history of Cincinnati football. And I think one of the things that you can look at what they've done is just the statistics that they are defensively. I mean, man, the jump that they've made from where they were to where they're at is staggering, and it's such a credit to Tyson. And I think you guys that know Tyson know what he stood for, what he was about here. He was a key piece to our football program being where we're at today, and he's doing an incredible job for Coach Satterfield. Again, I've always said about this defense, it's not so much what the defense is, it's how you play it. It's the mentality that you play it with. And I think when you see the video of Tyson, man, he's done an unbelievable job of the mentality, how those kids are playing. And man, they got good defensive players. Obviously, we knew that a year ago. Those are some really talented players. And I think the thing that's really, as a friend and somebody that cares about him deeply, you couldn't be prouder of what that defense looks like and what they're playing like. It'll be a great challenge for us. I mean, these kids are playing really hard for him. They believe in Coach Veidt. You can tell they play with his energy, his effort, and so I'm just really happy for him. I think that's what makes football tough sometimes, is you have some of those relationships and you got to play each other, and that's part of it. And we'll play the game, but we'll still be great friends afterwards. And so really proud of him, and I know it'll be emotional for him coming back here, because I know he takes a lot of pride in this place and what this place has stood for, because he was a key piece of building it.
Matt, Brendan Sorsby had a difficult week last week with turnovers, but what is it that makes him so difficult to defend?
Yeah, I think it goes to that word that all these great quarterbacks are having right now, right? It's multiplicity, and his ability. He's a really good runner, and I think that's the thing that probably, I think at first glance you watch him, he's got this big arm, man, he's big, got great confidence in the pocket, but man, his ability to extend plays, in the red zone, he's a great runner with the ball in his hands. They use him in a really some really smart ways. I think the other piece of it is just his confidence. He's played so much football that in the pocket, man, he's such a great pocket passer. He's got this big arm. He can really make from sideline to sideline and vertically. He can make you pay, and he's got really great rhythm in how he throws the football. So I think a young man that's got a lot of confidence, you can see he's growing every week within the offense. And even last week, I mean, man, gave them every chance to win the football game as well. Came back, made some huge plays, and gave that team a real chance to win the football game.
Jeremiah Cooper mentioned communication being off for the defense. It seems like Tyler was, in a certain sense, maybe feeling like the preparation last week was off. How do you go about improving that before playing Cincinnati this weekend defensively?
Yeah, I wouldn't say the preparation was anywhere close to being off. I just think the communication, you gotta remember who's communicating, right? So when 3/4 of the defense isn't out there, then you got a lot of young guys communicating, and it puts the pressure on, man, some of these other guys to not only check, make sure everybody's in the right spot. So I think sometimes, and a couple of those things just snuck up on us last week. It was tough, and that's part of it. And so you grow, you take, man, maybe where were some of those gaps, and then you still got some great experience back there. Coop, Bo, JR up front, Joey up front, where, man, some of those guys just got to take probably even a little bit more of the reins and keep helping these young guys grow forward as they kind of take their opportunity to get in. And again, let's also give a little credit to the team you're playing. They're putting you in some challenging spots where communication's got to be at the forefront. So, I think those were great lessons learned, and some of those guys that got new experiences last week, I think it'll help them even grow this week. So.
Yeah, you mentioned some of those young guys who got to play last week and maybe haven't before the season or before last week, like Tashawn James hasn't played a ton, Marcus Neal played snaps in the defensive backfield. How much value is there in a trial by fire sense, I guess, for them in learning, hey, like, we kind of got burnt not communicating here last week, we got to do it this week so we don't have those same mistakes?
Well, it's how you learn, right? And as I think what we've tried to do here is never waste a great failure. And, I think those are things for us that has really been our motto here for the last 5 years is, man, even though, again, we'll be defined at the end of the season. Each of these games are experiences, and can we be humble enough to learn and grow, and then can we strain to become the best version of us? And I think the thing that when you have unbelievable leadership, like a Jalen Noel and a Bo Freeler, and these guys are demanding to grow. Their 4th year in the program, they played a ton of football. They maybe made all these great plays, but they take ownership, Rocco Beck, and they've got this humility to grow. And I think it forces these young guys that, man, because nobody wants to be more perfect than these young guys because they don't want to let these older guys down. And I think that's the one thing I've got so much confidence in this team and so much joy coaching this team is, man, there is deep. Those cuts are deep, when you don't execute the way you want to, but there's such a willingness to come back, learn from it, grow forward. And, again, we have to be great teachers. The head coach has got to be a great teacher. Our assistant coaches got to be great teachers. And then, man, our players got to be wanting to learn and grow. And, that's the one fun thing about a young guy. When you get those experiences and maybe it doesn't go exactly how you want it, you're strained to get yourself back here and figure it out and grow forward.
Coach, what are the problems with this defense?
That we're playing?
No, your defense.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a lot of problems. I think we're playing a lot of young guys. I think our experience would probably be the toughest problem. And, the reality of it is, when you have some injuries, young pups got to step up and play with great consistency. And so, we gotta be more consistent. It's really where we're at. But great opportunity for this team to go forward for sure.
Anything else? Okay,
Awesome.
thank
Thank you guys.
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks, Matt.